Good morning, dear students. I am Ms. Navida Sheikh from Brahan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's session, we'll be learning something new and interesting from a science textbook. So let's get started. Good morning, dear students. I am Ms. Navida Sheikh and we'll be learning natural resources, air, water and land. In our previous class, we've already learned about air. Today, we'll be learning about water and land. So let's get started. Water. From the very beginning of the day, when you get up, you along with your family members require water in so many different ways, right? In so many ways like drinking, for cooking, our plants need it, our animals, our pet animals that are there in our houses, like if you have a fish tank, you need water. If you have pets like dog, cats, you need to bathe them, you need water. If you have a vehicle, you need to wash it, you need water. For if you want to go from one place to the other, you need a transportation like sea transportation, you need water over there. When there's a fire outbreak, water is required for drinking. So many different ways. These are our favorite ways to use water. Okay, so you can imagine how much amount of water is required daily in our in a single house. Like if you need water in so many different ways, same things are required by the other family members as well. Even they need water for drinking, for bathing, for eating, for preparing their food, or for washing their clothes, utensils. Everybody needs water, right? So this water which is there, is it sufficient for us? So how much water does the world actually have for use? Now we have learned that water and land on our surface of the earth, the proportion is 71% is water, whereas 29% is land. But this 71% of water is again further divided into 79% of water which has salt water, 2% is frozen fresh water in the form of ice glaciers, and only 1% is available for drinking purpose. Now, as we learned that we require water for so many different activities outside, but our body also requires water in a very large amount. Our body and most of the living organisms body mainly is made up of water. The blood in your body is also nothing but water along with other components. Okay, so you need water in various other activities inside your body also. So you need to drink at least 3 to 4 liters of water every day so that your body functions properly. Even other living things also require water. Depending now, the amount of water that they require depends upon their size and their work that they do. Now let us understand the various forms of water. In nature, water occurs in three states. First is solid, like here you can see glaciers and icebergs. Then you have water in liquid form, like rivers, ocean, ponds, the normal tap water that you have in your houses. The third one is gas. The steam that you see coming out, it is nothing but the form of water. Another important thing that we've already learned is water doesn't have any color, odor or taste. Odor means any smell, okay, when it is in pure state. Many substances easily dissolve in water. Means if you add something to water, it easily dissolves. Like if you make lemonade or nimbu pani, you just tend to put lemon into it, you add sugar, you add salt, and you just turn it around. You will notice that the water dissolves everything inside it, and you cannot see anything, right? You do not see sugar, you do not see salt, and you can drink it. Same way, if I'm adding your dispirin over here into water, it easily dissolves into it. And that is the reason water is called as a universal solvent. As I told you that most of the part of a body and living organism is made up of water, the blood of animals and the sap in plants contains a very high amount of water. No living thing can survive without water, therefore, it is said that water is life. So, in plants also, when they absorb water from the soil, it is transferred to stem, the leaves, okay, and it is used by the entire organism. Same way in our body also, the blood that we have is also most amount of it is what? Water. Now, a question that I have and I would like you all to think about it is, in what ways is the water in seas and oceans useful even though it is salty? Now, anything in nature which is present naturally is useful in some or the other way. Okay? Nothing is like without any purpose on our planet. Everything has a purpose, and let us find this purpose of salty water also. Why is it present in so much amount? So, it is for the water cycle. In order to conduct water cycle, you need this much amount of water. The oceans and the sea, they have salty water. This water, because by the process of evaporation, gets converted into water vapor. They form clouds, and when they condense, they give out rainfall, and this rain falls onto the surface of the earth. This water can be used as fresh water for our drinking purpose. Okay, so water cycle is understand how this salty water is used. So water cycle is a very interesting process which helps us to provide us with fresh water, and it is the only source by which fresh water is supplied to the planet Earth. Okay, here you can see oceans, you can see evaporation taking place, cloud formation, then condensation, and then precipitation. Okay, so this is what water cycle is. And we know that water is present in large quantity and we need to use it every day. Okay, so water cycle, it helps us to regulate this water. The water vapor formed from ocean is the main source of water in the water cycle. It gets converted into rain, creating fresh water sources on Earth. Now let us see a few sources of water on our planet which are contributing, okay, for our drinking purpose. You have streams, you have springs which have fresh water in them and which could be used for our drinking and domestic purposes. Okay, it has to be treated and then it is used. You cannot use it directly. Then a few more sources are rivers and ponds. Again, they have fresh water and they do not have salt in them, and you could use them. Apart from that, now those were the natural sources of water. Now dams have been constructed by man. They store water in this dam. How is this water stored? Suppose if there's a river, they block the part of the river and they construct a dam over there. And what happens here is whenever the rain falls, it falls in that region and that water gets collected. It doesn't flow off. Okay, it gets collected because if the river is flowing, it will go and mix with the oceans and the seas which is nearby, and we do not want that. Okay, we want to use this water, so dams are built and water is stocked over there so that this water which is collected can be used for the later period of time. Okay. Apart from that, underground water is also used, as we learned that during water cycle, water falls onto the surface of the earth also, and it percolates into the earth surface as well, means inside the earth surface. And that water is obtained from wells and bore wells, which you normally find in. Now, human activities have increased day by day, and due to which water pollution is at its peak, and which is very dangerous. Have learned up till now that water required by us is present in very small amount, and if it gets polluted, then what are we going to drink and use? Even the plants and animals inside are affected. So it is very important for us to protect this resource by us and animals and living organisms in so many different ways. So you need to use water sparingly. You need to block water, let it percolate and then use it. You should also store water. Now, who other than you all can know how to store water? Okay, you all know that You use buckets, you place it outside when it rains, and then you use that water for washing clothes or for different purposes, not for drinking, but other purposes you can use it, right? Same thing happens here also. The rainwater harvest is nothing but whenever rain during this period of rainy season, this water is collected in huge tanks. These tanks are connected to pumps, and this pump gives out this collected water for gardening, for washing, etc. throughout the month or for later use. Okay, so you should always reuse water wherever possible, like when you're washing your vegetables or you're washing your rice, etc. You could use those that same water for planting or watering the plants. Okay, remember, stored water does not become stale. Land. Land, another very important resource. Land is a very important resource. Why do I say it? Because it is present on the surface of the earth. As I told you, that anything which is present on our earth is extremely important and useful. Let us see how. Now, all living things here, you can see, including animals and plants and humans, we all use land as a way of living over it. Okay, to build our homes, to get food, many things. Some terrestrials also dig burrows inside the ground to take shelter. This means that we are making use of this resource, right? Now, needs like farming, agriculture is one of the way of using the land. We also see that plants also require this land to get their food, right? To get other organisms. We also need plants, so we are also making use of it, which is very important resource. We make use of land for building our houses so that we can be safe in it. We also get oil, natural gases, minerals from land. Let us understand the layers of the land. Now, at the very top, you will find a layer which is rich in plants and animal remnants, means over the period of time when plants and animals die, they settle onto the surface of the earth, the topmost layer, that is called as the humus. Okay, this humus has amount of plants, remnant decomposition of the plants and animals in it, and this is very fertile, which helps the plants to grow. It is usually found in dense forest regions. The land below this is full of sand and soil, small stones, worms, and insects. This is the topsoil we're talking about. Now, after that, the soil and pieces of bedrocks are found below this layer of land, which is immature, that is the subsoil. Below that, you will have more amount of rocks rather than soil. And in the very below region, you have the bedrock. Now, depending, the bedrock is, it doesn't have soil in it. It has huge big rocks in it, and this bedrock is the reason the color and the texture of the soil is determined. Okay. All right. So we will learn about soil formation now. About soil formation, very important thing. This process takes place over a long period of time with the help of sun, water, ice, wind, and plants, which breaks down huge pieces of rock to form soil. This process of breaking down of rocks is called as weathering. Now, earlier when there were huge layer of rocks. Okay, it started in the very beginning where the Earth's crust was made up of thick layers of rocks. Because of the sun and rainfall, this alternate process of the high amount of heat and cooling down of rain by the rain, this rocks started to form cracks in them. Okay, after alternate heating and cooling, it resulted in the formation of cracks. When it rains, the cracks were filled with water, which later froze. Okay, in winter, this ice used to freeze. This water used to freeze and turn into ice, which helps the rocks to break down into smaller pieces. Okay, contributing to soil formation. Same way, some plants used to grow there, okay, in the cracks, and in order to expand, they started to move, and that movement caused the rocks to break, again further contributing to soil formation. The moving water of stream, waterfalls, rivers, they also break down large pieces of rocks into smaller pieces, okay, which also adds further to soil formation. Now, this soil formation, it doesn't happen within few days or years. It takes thousands of years, and it is a very slow process. Only a few centimeter of soil is formed over thousands of years. Okay, so you can imagine how long it must have taken for so much of soil and sand which is there right now on our planet to be have been formed. Okay, understand about the word soil erosion. When I talk about soil erosion, things come into your mind. The upper layer of the soil is made up of fine soil particles. As we learned, it is rich in minerals and has humus. This humus makes the soil fertile, which is important for plants. Sometimes, because of heavy rainfall, running water, and wind, this top layer is removed, which is known as soil erosion. Now, let us perform a few activities to understand how the soil erosion takes place. The activity 1, you will need uh, we see how with water soil erosion occurs. We have this model of hill and it is covered with a layer of soil over it. We will start with pouring water onto the hill. Now, if you notice, you will see that the water comes down along with the soil. Okay, it runs down. It takes away the top layer of the soil and it deposits into the river. Now, this process is called as silting. In this way, the fertile soil is lost and the layer of riverbed rises, making them more prone to floods. Now, in the next activity, we will see how soil erosion takes place by air. Some place some sand here and tend to blow over it. You will see that when you blow over the sand, what will happen? It settles, the sand tends to settle and deposit at the other place. Now, this blowing away of the top layer of the soil is called as soil erosion. Okay, so how can we prevent soil erosion? Let us perform one more activity. We will take two wooden boxes and fill it with soil, equal amount of soil. In one of the boxes, we will plant small grasses which need to have roots. Okay, and we will till the boxes, add equal amount of water in both the box, and we will observe that the ones which has grass, only water comes out, no soil is coming out from it. Whereas on the other hand, we will see that this box has soil also coming along with water, and it is very important that plants help to plant more trees because they help in preventing soil erosion. Okay, because soil is a they help to bind the soil and they are very important in preventing soil erosion. Okay, so I hope that this soil erosion is also clear how it happens, how it can be prevented. Let's understand concepts of whatever we have learned up till now with pertaining to air, water, and land. All the resources that we have are in a very limited amount, and it is required in a huge amount by us. Okay, so these resources are they are available in small amount. Like land is available only 29% out of the total Earth surface. Water, which is used for drinking and fresh water, is only 0.3% out of the entire 71% of water which is available on land on our planet Earth. Oxygen is only 21%, which is required by all the living organisms. Okay, so these are very small numbers, but if we even if in a small proportion, the resources shown in the above table are sufficient for all the living things, right? Because we are living with these only resources since so many thousands of years, right? So only important thing that you need to keep in mind is it is very necessary for man to control his greed. Means if we stop using it in so many ways that it is exploiting the natural resources, we are tending to disturb the entire system, ecosystem. Okay. In other words, you must see that you use all the resources in a very a limited amount because they are present in a limited amount. So we need to use it properly with all awareness that all living things require it, not only us. So you should use the resources carefully, and you should think about other living things as well. That even others need it. The people who are going to come after us, they will also need it. So we need to use it carefully and properly and conserve it. Okay. So with this, I hope everything is clear, and you will now be more responsible and use the resources which are available to us in the surrounding in a proper manner, and not waste it unnecessarily, because we have other people also and other living organism also who need them. Okay. Thank you.
Hope this session was quite useful to you. In the next coming period, we learn something new and interesting. Till then, thank you.